You guys, forget about Avengers Endgame, forget about Ready Player One, forget about that episode of Bones where Stewie was there. There's a new weirdest, all of the characters crossing over into each other thing, and I want to tell you about it. Now listen, I know what you're going to say when I tell you what we're talking about here, but trust me, I think it's worth hearing about. I also think some of it's really funny. And I also think it says something interesting about like where culture is right now. Anyway, it's a Fortnite thing. This is the thing that happened in Fortnite. It may have come across your feed. Like I saw people sharing posts about how Marvel and DC had crossed over in this video game. And that is true. That technically did happen. But this is way different than that. And there's way more going on. And I want to explain it because, again, I think it's fun. Oh, hey, real quick. This is Nando from the day after I recorded this. Just want to be super clear. In this video, I am not talking about any of the AI controversy related to Fortnite. And no, I don't mean that time. They put an AI Darth Vader in Fortnite and a bunch of the streamers made it say slurs. But there have been some new allegations from the community this week that Fortnite has been using some AI art in the game. I don't know the whole story with that. If that's true, they shouldn't do it. I've got a bigger AI video coming out soon. I just want to be super clear on that. They should pay artists if they're using AI. That's a bad thing. All right, back to the video. Now, I'm not going to explain all of Fortnite, but basically, there is a story that goes on through Fortnite. And I've only been playing this thing for like a year, maybe a year and a half. I like it. I think it's a fun game. Is it like the best gunplay ever? No, but you join on with friends, you play a round or two, some fun stuff happens, and then you're done. They're also always adding new stuff. Like they just finished a collaboration with The Simpsons that was so well done, so well put together. You could go into Evergreen Terrace, you could go into the Simpsons house, you could go into Moe's Tavern, you could go into the nuclear power plant. It was really, really impressive. They even made actual Simpsons shorts, like official animated Simpsons material to coincide with this so that like when something happened in the map, there was like an explanation. It was wild. But anyway, that means I've only been playing the game since chapter 5 and we just moved into chapter 7. So like there's a lot of Fortnite I don't really understand. And it is a game, like you don't need to know any of the lore, but around once a year or so, there's a big event where something happens to the map and it is reset and changes completely. Last time this happened, the entire map just turned into like Japan. This time the map turned into California. So like everything's California themed. There's amusement parks and Venice and Redwoods. It's pretty cool. But like, so there are these big events. Like I said, they're once a year. Everybody logs on. Everybody plays together. You don't really play there. You walk around and sometimes there's things to shoot, but you can't lose this. It's all kind of predetermined cutscenes and things like that. But it is fun to be there during it. There may be like, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes long. And there is like a complete story to Fortnite that I'm not going to even kind of try to explain to you, where characters like Jonesy and Peely all do stuff with crystals and whatever, and it's very complicated. Like I said, we're not talking about that now. We're just talking about this one event from the other day. Now, like I said, in the lead up to this, they were doing Simpsons stuff. Homer had swallowed a shard of 0 point energy or whatever. It's like the magic energy of this game. And that turned him into a big giant Homer. And we were trying to get him to like do something, I guess spit out the shard or whatever, so that he would be normal and we could use it for whatever it is that they use it for. And you join the event as that's happening. So you join the event, you hang around in the lobbies, maybe like 20-ish people per lobby, something like that. Sometimes it can be tough to join in and the lobbies get crowded, so some people miss it. But there's always people streaming it. And like I said, like, the experience of doing it is pretty much the same as the experience of watching it live and not knowing what's going to come, because we really didn't know. But okay, so two like main characters, Jones and Hope, are trying to do a dimension machine or something. It doesn't matter. So Jones and Hope and all the Fortnite guys are getting ready to fight the Dark Presence, who's this thing. We really hadn't seen it, I think, up until this point. We knew it was tentacles and it sent out the bugs that you were shooting in the Starship Troopers kind of season. And there were like tentacles and monstery things throughout the map. But okay, so we're trying to go to its dimension. I guess they warp you through a bunch of different realities. First you go to like a film noir reality for a second, and then you go to Fall Guys, and everybody's Fall Guys. This only lasts for like maybe 5 seconds each. You go to a dimension where everybody's Playboy Cardi or something. You go back to the Simpsons dimension where you're jumping on Homer, and you got a Hatsune Miku concert, which this was a big deal. She got added into Fortnite recently. I don't really understand what Hatsune Miku is, but I know people are very excited about it. Then we go to the bobblehead dimension. Then we're set into space where we tumble around to see Star Destroyers, because Star Wars is a thing that has Fortnite collaborations. Then real quick, you do prop hunt, underwater, comic book, and hell. Our characters all go to hell for a second, but then they go to like the battleground reality or wherever, where the Dark Presence lives, and we see the Dark Presence, and it's this big purple whatever guy with tentacles, the tentacles from before, and bugs, and he's really scary or whatever. And Jones is like, oh my god, he's so tough and cool, we're all gonna get eaten by him. But the thing that they were doing in the lab before was sending out like beacons to other realities, and these were all the things that Fortnite crossed over with in the previous chapter, which means they all show up, and some of them seem like the kind of things that would do that. Like, for instance, first thing out is Godzilla. Godzilla was in Fortnite recently, and you could be Godzilla, which was very cool. Then a really random assemblage of Marvel skins comes out, which is a new Iron Man skin that was added recently, and then Thunderbolt skins, but they're comic versions of Yelena and Bucky. There wasn't like a Thunderbolts collaboration. There was a pretty big Fantastic Four collaboration, but I don't know, maybe they couldn't get the rights or something. Maybe Marvel's like, yeah, don't put them in this. But they should have, because it would have been funny. You got Sub-Zero and Scorpion. They're going to be helpful for this. The Ninja Turtles, who, I love you Ninja Turtles, but we're getting into the realm of like characters that might not be incredibly helpful for fighting this giant thing. Speaking of giant thing, there's this big blue mecha called Mecha Team Leader. It has some sort of lore significance. It's a Fortnite specific thing. And then you got Invincible, Adam Eve, and Alan the Alien, because they were also introduced this season. And then Superman shows up, and this is the David Cornsweet model of Superman that was a big part of the previous chapter. They did a whole Fortress of Solitude, and he was part of the Battle Pass. I have that skin. I don't use it too often. I do have one of the other skins that they released during that event, which was, they only released 3. They're 3 characters that they took from Superman and put into Fortnite. Guess which 3? You already know one's Superman, so one's Superman. I'll give you a hint in the other one. The other one's Mr. Terrific. So who's the third one? Got Superman, Mr. Terrific, and the Engineer. That's right, no Guy Gardner, no Lois Lane, no Lex Luthor, no Hawkgirl, the Engineer. So, like, obviously, I've got that skin, and I play as that every so often. I'm assuming no one knows what it is. But, like, David Cornsweet Superman just shows up at this thing. This is our DC and Marvel crossover. We have Iron Man and Superman in the same thing, which is, like, it's not nothing. This doesn't happen very often. These are both officially licensed versions of them, too. This isn't, like, the knockoff version. These are the guys. And also in this little crossover thing, you got Invincible, Godzilla. There's these guys over here. They might be from an anime or something. I'm not really sure what their deal was. It's very possible that they are original characters, because a lot of the other characters that filter into here are original Fortnite characters. Also, next to the Marvel guys, you can see my favorite characters that appear in this. One being the front man, and the other one being one of the guard people. You know, which traditionally the bad guys of Squid Game. They don't seem like they would join up with these guys. Also, I feel like they don't have anything at all to add to the whole thing. I mean, it's nice that they came for like moral support, but also, like the main guy from Squid Game, at least he doesn't execute poor people. So that would be a good reason to have him here. You also got 2 Halo soldiers. There's Giant Homer in the background. A lot of these other guys by the Halo guys are original Fortnite guys. And then you got the Megazord. Now, this was a whole big thing also in Fortnite. The Power Rangers were there, and you could get in the Megazord and fight bugs. It was crazy. So that's here too. Also, this guy is mostly in shadow in the very front of the fight, which would suggest he's kind of important. I have no idea who this is supposed to be. I'm just going to say, since that skin has been in the store for a little while, it's Vecna. Vecna from Stranger Things is here helping. Hooray. So then they all charge, and they're like, it's time for an Avengers Endgame or a Ready Player One or whatever. And Iron Man and the Squid Game guys and X-Wings and Kong. Kong is at this. Kong, having watched the whole thing, Kong is the MVP. He doesn't like kill anybody, but he's always jumping right into the middle to fight the evil presence or whatever we're calling that thing. And in the distance, you can see this fight the whole time between the evil presence and all these other big characters. So like I said, Kong jumps on top of him and starts wrestling with him. Some cars cut you off. The Ninja Turtle van, the DeLorean shows up. Not going to be incredibly helpful. I guess if you crashed it into him, because it's got like plutonium in it, but that would be dangerous. But good for the Ninja Turtles. You know, they killed the kaiju before in Mutant Madness, but this thing is so big. It is even bigger than King Kong and Godzilla. Like, look at it's manhandling King Kong. Also, there's this thing on the right that is shooting green energy. I was told this is called like the Ice King's Beast. I think this is also an original Fortnite thing. Anyway, Kong gets thrown back at you guys, and you're like, oh no, Kong's dead. Don't worry, Kong's gonna keep getting up because he's a champ. But they're like, you gotta get into the chopper, so some choppers land. And I swear, this is what happens in the thing. You hear a little bit of a song that, if you've seen the movie, is very familiar. And you get in your helicopter, which turns out is being piloted by the K-pop Demon Hunters. All 3 of them are piloting a helicopter in this. Seems like they'd be way more useful on the front line, but whatever. And some highlights here. Homer's making it up to the front line now. Godzilla is slowly making his way to the front. Kong is like already back and just ready to get thrown into the air again. Iron Man flies by, and then Godzilla does a Godzilla atomic breath at the evil presence. And I've been told, I did not notice this at the time, on top of Godzilla is Hatsune Miku, who is doing a Hatsune Miku beam, I guess, at the same time as Godzilla's. You can see her beam and Godzilla's beam, and this does seem to mess with the guys, so that was good. Homer throws a big donut at it. The Megazord is like doing something over there. Kong's climbing on top of it again. Kong gets tossed, and then your ship goes down and explodes. And I know what you're thinking, but we do see the K-pop demon hunters gliding down safely, so they did survive. You do a little bit of shooting on your own. Big tentacle comes out of the ground, and it's like you shoot it a little bit. It doesn't matter if you shoot it. If you don't shoot it, this still happens. And then another very familiar musical sting happens as the bride from Kill Bill, Uma Thurman's character, jumps onto this tentacle, cuts it all up, and then lands, and it's like, get on. This is a real thing. Now, for people that haven't caught up on this part, Quentin Tarantino is currently in the process of re-releasing Kill Bill. It's called The Whole Bloody Affair. It's got Kill Bill 1 and Kill Bill 2. There's also a, I believe, like 9-minute short, which I did watch because you can watch it in Fortnite, that is a chapter of Kill Bill that Quentin Tarantino wrote in the first draft of the movie and then didn't put in anything. Apparently, the story for this is the character Go-Go from Kill Bill Volume 1, very, very popular character. She dies. Her sister, Yuki, was sick, so she didn't go to the massacre that day. So she tracks down the bride and tries to get revenge. And it's like a well enough animated short. They got Uma Thurman to actually be in it, and it's like a kind of cool fight scene. It's got way too much Fortnite stuff in it to fit into what's going on in the rest of the Kill Bill-verse, including a character taking a shield potion, but still, it's cool. It looks good. Apparently Quentin Tarantino was not expecting to do this, but Epic was just like, do you have any extra Kill Bill we could put on the Fortnite? And he was like, there is extra Kill Bill. So they just made the Kill Bill for him. Wild. So the bride's in this. You jump on, you get on her motorcycle. She drives around. A rock almost falls on you. Superman catches it. And then you and the bride pass under it as the bride says in what seems like kind of a strange tone to Superman, which is wild because of how much of a part of the end of Kill Bill the story of Superman is, that these characters are interacting. You drive by a bunch of the other guys like Winter Soldier, Sub-Zero, I'm assuming the Squid Game guys. The Star Destroyer shows up, so again, I thought we were the good guys. Are we the baddies? Is the hidden presence like the good guy here? Because we had the villain from Squid Game, and now the evil empire from Star Wars is helping us kill it. So like now I'm like, what are they doing here? But maybe they just saw this thing where like we should probably shoot at it. They all get killed. So it's like, hey, thanks, evil presence. That's not bad for the galaxy. Godzilla jumps on this thing. It picks Godzilla up by the tail and slams it onto the ground. Then it kills the Megazord. Homer's over there, kind of being there. He throws a rock at one point. Kong, again, doing a great job, goes in to protect his friend Godzilla because they're friends in the movies and I guess in this. And then some Fortnite stuff happens. I don't really know. Apparently there's a cube, a very important cube. So they summon the cube, or good guys summon the cube. And then the presence tries to eat the cube, but then the cube gets all dangerous. And then Mecha Team Leader kicks the cube into the evil presence, which destroys the evil presence, and everybody's good. Also, like, when the Mecha Team Leader thing shows up, I assume this means that Jones, that character, is usually a pilot of it, because when it shows up, and it is there in the beginning of the thing too, but they make this big deal as if it finally came, and it's there at the end, and Jones is like, who's piloting it? And the answer is, we never find out. I just guess it's somebody else that's in Fortnite, so I'm going to say it's like 5 people usually, right, for a Megazord. So let's say it's Sabrina Carpenter, Bob's Burgers, Mo, and then let's say Thanos and the Grabber from Black Phone. Let's say those are the guys that they were piloting the mech. It's a bummer that they didn't reveal that. They've got time. That could be something that is revealed in the next one of these. And like I said, this is what this one was. Last one of these was a concert with like 4 musicians. And it was cool because you were like floating in space and stuff, but like, this is so different. This felt like a dark ride at like Universal or something like that. And you know, it was pretty fun. It was pretty stupid. At the end, the number 6 very slowly changed to the number 7, and everybody rolled their eyes. And then we were in California with the bride and Marty McFly and all kinds of stuff. And like, listen, when things try to do their own Avengers Endgame, usually doesn't work out. And I think the reason this was so funny for me was how genuinely arbitrary some of these characters were. The Ninja Turtles, the Squid Game characters, Kill Bill, and the K-pop Demon Hunters helped a giant Homer and King Kong and a Star Destroyer kill some weird purple monster thing. Like, that's pretty insane. And it wasn't like, oh, who did Marvel want to send? It was like, those were the skins that were made in the last chapter, so they were the ones that they used. The Ninja Turtles had come up before, but like, a lot of those guys are just recent skins. And I guess it's funny because like, this idea of just whoever's available doing an Avengers Endgame to fight some big purple monster thing, like, this feels like what it felt like as a kid to play with all your toys. And what I mean is like taking Iron Man and having him fight Darth Vader and some Legos and a pro wrestling action figure, like, because you wanted them to have the ultimate fight. That's what this felt like. And it's just bizarre that they did it. It's bizarre that all the companies agreed to it, but honestly, like, looking back, if I were the Fantastic Four, I would have wanted to be in there because it was cool. I think everybody that plays Fortnite enjoyed it, and everybody that doesn't play Fortnite would never have heard about it, except for right here in this video. So there's nothing to lose. But yeah, they can only do this once, I assume. Like, this can't be the thing that happens next year's another Avengers Endgame. So I'm curious to see not necessarily how they raise the stakes, but how they push this forward. And yeah, you know, Fortnite's stupid, but it's a fun kind of stupid, and I appreciate it. And speaking of these big collaborations where people from all over come together, there's a new short film on Nebula called The Dinner Plan. It's directed by Patrick Willems. It's about a guy named Henry, played by Griffin Newman, who has a food allergy and has to try to navigate a work dinner where he's worried he's going to be allergic to the food, which, if you've ever been in this situation, you know why this can play like a horror movie. And besides Griffin, you got John Hodgman, you got Miriam Schur from Pluribus, and Zach Cherry from Severance. And you can watch this short film along with tons of other stuff on this video's sponsor, Nebula, which we just introduced 3-day trials for Nebula. You're like, what's Nebula? Well, it's a subscription streaming service that I helped to create. I've talked about this many times in many videos before, where me and a bunch of other YouTube creators, people that make videos about like history, culture, current events, science, all kinds of stuff. It's a very big list of what we make videos about. The Nebula is a platform you can go to watch all our videos early, ad-free. You can like download them on your phone. But like, Nebula is curated. I don't know if you guys use YouTube a lot. I do for all kinds of stuff. And it has so much AI. And some of it's like obvious AI, right? Like a movie trailer for Avengers Doomsday, and it's all the characters just kind of turning. But there's also AI content where it is a disembodied voice talking about a news thing or character in a comic book or something. A lot of times I'll be like, what is the deal with this vigilante character? I would like to learn a little bit more about him pretty quickly, so I'll put on a YouTube video. And if I did this 3 years ago, it's like people who know what they're talking about, who are fans of the character, research the character, whatever, and they're like human beings. And I love that. Do it now. Unless you see the person's face or you know who they are, it could very well, and a lot of them are just like AI videos where the AI talks about the characters. It drives me up a wall because you don't always know it until like you're a little bit in and you're like, oh man, something about the way this guy's talking just doesn't feel right. But sometimes they just do sound right, and it's not until like you're pretty much done with the video that you're like, damn it, that wasn't a real person. And like, Nebula's got a lot of great things going for it, but one main one that I love to tell people about is it's all real people. We are making it ourselves, and all the videos getting made on it are made by us, and it's very cool. And just for the month of December, if you go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut, you can get a year of Nebula for $30. That is less than $3 a month. We also have our Nebula lifetime memberships, which you pay $500 once and you can use Nebula for the rest of your life. And if you use my link, you can get it for $300 instead of $500. And also, the holidays are coming up. Nebula is a great gift. Make sure you could get someone a shirt they might wear a couple times. But for $30, you could give them a year subscription to Nebula. It supports the channels they love, and they get to watch all of our videos ad-free, which watching videos without ads is the greatest gift of all. Again, go to go.nebula.tv/thenandocut, and in the month of December, you get a year of Nebula for $30. Check it out. Do the free trial. Watch The Dinner Plan. You're going to love it.